What's going on, everybody? Good morning, happy new year. So we have a Freightliner Century Class with 1.3 million original miles. Now it's obviously got a few lights going on here. We've got the stop engine light, malfunction light, and a Regen requested light. So let's see what the diagnostics are going to say on the cluster. HVAC, oil temp, that's going to be a sensor or a harness. Let's see here. Engine 128 31804, 128 S 15500, HVAC bad. So we've got a number of things going on. We're going to actually plug in the laptop to see what's going on, but I want to show you guys really quick. Look at that, 1.3 million miles. Very impressive. So anyway, let's get plugged in. Let's see what's going on, and we'll go from there. I showed you earlier in the video that we have a few codes, a few check engine lights. We've got the Regen, we got the stop, and earlier I think we had a mill light going on. So right now I'm actually plugging in. I hope you guys can see what I see. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you what the fault codes are. Okay, I know we had an oil pressure sensor fault code. I'm sorry, an oil temp fault code. Obviously we have a soot level very high. Okay, no kidding. If you have any kind of check engine light on, okay, whether it's a oil pressure sensor, water sensor, whatever the case is, it will not let you do a Regen. See, look at that. Coolant temperature, oil temp, plausibility fault, oil temp, circuit. So we have an issue with the sensor. I'm going to show you the parts that we're going to replace. I'm going to show you where the oil temp sensor is as well. Right now, just to give you an idea, we are at zone level 5, which means we are at the max. So in order to get around with this, you can use an override button. Okay, some guys will do a little paper clip or a penny or a quarter, shove it in there, and the truck will not shut down. Again, this is on a 2008-2009 Century Cascadia, same thing. EPA 07, okay, which means it's going to be a 2008-2009. And again, this truck is the one I just mentioned with 1.3 million miles. Check that out, guys. 1.3 million original. That's pretty badass. I like that. So again, what we're going to do right now is we're going to actually start taking this thing up front. We're going to remove a few things. I'm going to show you everything I can step by step, and we'll go from there. We still need to do a Regen in order to clear this code and get everything going, but this guy's gonna want me to clean out the filters, so we're gonna do that as well. So anyway, let's get everything together. I'm gonna get all my shit together. I'm gonna get all my stuff together, show you what we need to do to clear this and get this guy back on the road. Take a look. This is the harness that we're gonna go ahead and replace. This is the rear harness on a Series 60. You're gonna have 3 harnesses. You're gonna have the first one, which is your injector harness, your second, which is your engine harness that comes off of the ECM or the MCM, and then last you're going to have the rear harness, which goes around the back, kind of connects where the starter is. It's going to swing around the back of the cylinder head. It's going to come down towards the turbo. I'm going to show you guys that in a second. So again, this is the harness, this is the coolant temp sensor, and actually oil temp sensor. So they're actually both the exact same thing. But we're going to do the oil temp because that's actually what it's telling us is bad. I may just replace the coolant as well, and maybe the oil pressure, just kind of eliminate those 3 all in one. These are relatively cheap. They're not that expensive. And again, let me open this up so you guys can see what's inside. Okay guys, so this is what the harness looks like. This is the main part that connects to the primary harness. Let's take a look here. If I'm not mistaken, this is going to be your oil pressure sensor. Okay, it's going to swing around. It's going to go to the, there we go. This is going to be your coolant temp sensor. This is going to be your oil temp sensor. And then these are going to go over to the turbo side, okay, which is going to be your turbo speed sensor, turbo sensor, inlet, intake, whatever that is. So just to give you an idea what that looks like, I know it's not a very clear picture, but that's what we're going to work on. Just to give you an idea where the harness is going to connect. Okay, this is part of the engine harness. Behind, let me kind of get in there and show you guys. I'm going to zoom in as best I can. Okay, that is the connection to the harness that I'm talking about, okay? So you have, let me see if I can kind of put my finger on it. This is the engine side, and that is going to be the other side of the harness, okay? So we're going to go ahead and disconnect that. Again, it does wrap around the rear of the cylinder head. So it goes around, swings around to the other side. Let me show you guys really quick. And then we're gonna have the harness, which actually comes down back there. See, that's that cable right there. Okay, that's actually what comes down. It's gonna connect to the oil temp sensor, and the oil temp sensor is actually right behind the oil filters. I'm gonna go underneath and show you guys that. And then you're gonna have the connection right there, okay? So that harness is what we're gonna replace. Takes a couple hours to do that. I recommend removing the
Okay guys, so there is a bottom view of the harness. So again, this harness is what's gonna connect up towards the turbo and those sensors. Let's get back here so you can take a look. And where is that son of a gun? Anyway, right back there, okay, is where, right around there, is where the oil temp sensor is. So I recommend removing the oil filters. Once you do that, you're gonna have nice access to that. You're gonna remove the harness, you're gonna reinstall the new harness. I'm gonna show you how fun that is. And
okay guys, so after about an hour and a half to 2 hours, we got the harness out. Now this is part of it. I didn't really show the entire thing. I actually had to cut it out. As you can see, we have a lot of oil. We also have oil present in the harness, okay? So this is definitely gonna be causing the issue of oil pressure, oil temp issue as far as a sensor circuit, something like that. You're gonna get some kind of fault code like that, like the one in the video. So again, this eventually leaks over into the harness, which leaks over to here, which leaks over to here, okay? This is the oil pressure sensor. I'm gonna replace it anyway. It's always a good rule of thumb, because again, these with time, okay, the oil will pass through from the engine side over to the harness side, okay? Right now we've got the other side out. The harness, we've got the oil pressure sensor, the oil temp sensor. I'm gonna show you that right now in a second. Tony's working on that. We're gonna put it all back together. We're gonna fire it up, make sure we don't have any issues, and go from there. So guys, if you're getting issues like this as far as fault codes, again, always look at your harness and always look at the sensor or look at the cause of it, okay? So I'm gonna show you that there. I'm gonna go up underneath, show you where the rest of it is, and go from there. All right guys, so the oil temp sensor, as I was showing you, you have your two oil filters here, right? On a Series 60, whether it's a 12.7 or 14 liter. And this one again is a 14 liter 2008-2009 EPA 07. So the little problem we have there is the sensor. Now the fun thing is the way the engineers designed this thing, which, let's face it guys, you gotta love the engineers, man. I mean, I don't know what the hell, what else to say about those guys. So they put it right back there. Again, we're gonna replace the entire harness. Harness plugs into there. Harness plugs into these little bad boys. Runs up against back there. Connects to the coolant temp sensor. Runs over to the oil pressure sensor, and then it plugs into the harness that I was showing you guys earlier. So again, this is the culprit, but I'm also thinking that because of the contamination we had, that's causing the issue. So anyway, wanted to show you that before we put the filters in. We're gonna actually run the harness in first, then we're gonna put the filters, make sure we got oil back in this bad boy, and go from there. So yeah, a lot of fun guys. Right, so there you go. There's a quick view of the harness, the old one. Obviously it's seen much better days before. That's the turbo side, and again, everything that connects to it, and then that is the part that connects to your main MCM or ECM harness, and again, sensor. So we're replacing all this. This should resolve the issue that we have. Again, when you have a check engine light, you cannot do a regen. Doesn't matter what you try to do, the system will not allow it. So that's definitely why this truck was at DPF Zone 5. So anyway, we're gonna go ahead and put this little bad boy back in, put the filters, put the oil, start it up, verify the repairs, take the filters out, and that's pretty much it. We'll do a regen. Because you're at DPF Zone 5, you have to do a regen. Doesn't matter if you put brand new filters in, doesn't matter if you put clean filters in, the system will require you to do a regen to verify the repair. So just to give you a heads up.